Yeah.
So one of the things, Lorenzo, that I saw this morning, actually, was watching a bunch of session recordings, um, and I noticed something really, really fascinating. I mean, it's a pattern I've seen on session recordings hundreds of times. I'm sure you have as well, but I never really. It kind of triggered a thought in my mind. So when I look at session recordings, I skip past like 90% of them, because 90% of session recordings are extremely low engagement. Like someone comes to a page, they scroll up and down like crazy for 2 seconds, they leave. Or they come and they don't even scroll. Or they come, they click on the first link and then they exit. Like very, very kind of no data. And this is true for 90% of recordings. In fact, in Hotjar, I filter out for any inactivity kind of session recordings and one page session recordings and all of that, which is a very big chunk of the recordings that
Totally.
take place. And then you have this other percent, 10%. I was going through some of them today, and it's so fascinating. Like these people are spending like 20, 25 minutes, 18 minutes, 12 minutes, five, whatever that number is, like really, really high amount. And I was looking at some of the recordings, and the guy was like literally taking his mouse and reading line by line. And then not only did he go through line by line, he went through all the images in the gallery. He went to multiple pages, or he or she went to multiple pages and scroll down at a very slow rate, which tells me, they're like
Consumption.
actually consuming this content. So there is this weird dichotomy between very low engagement and very, very high engagement. And I'm of the opinion that all conversions actually happen in the second bucket. And so to me, it just triggered this thought of content consumption. And I think it's such a critical element. We've talked about this idea of content discovery. So if there's a page and you have, social proof and one part of the page, and you have image gallery in the other part of the page, you have one part of the page that talks about how this product was made. And if people go to that section, we say, okay, they've seen that content, or that content matters. But actually, what's equally important to me is how much time do they spend actually consuming that content. So the content consumption is something that I've really, really been thinking about. And I don't think we have proper frameworks for this. And so for me personally, and the reason I'm sharing this is, and I don't know where this thought is going, but it just became very, very clear to me that there's a universe of difference between people that are not engaging and not consuming content, and people that are consuming content. And it kind of makes sense. If you look at your conversion rate, the average conversion rate of a website is 3%. I'm talking about even on the high end. And so very few people actually buy. And I think the problem is that when we look at, this is the point I want to make. When marketers look at session recordings, they draw the wrong conclusions, because they'll say something like, I looked at 100 recordings, nobody was reading the product description, therefore product description doesn't matter. Well, 97% of people don't buy. So if you look at session recordings, you're actually looking at a lot of behavior of non-buyers. Um, and so I think we are over. Anyway, I don't know what your thoughts about this, but this is something that I want to kind of get deeper into, this topic of like content consumption, how it is a critical, maybe the most important indicator of a future conversion event.
Yeah, I think there's no really tools right now that actually lets you understand content consumption. So if I go like on a blog post page or like in a product page and so on, like to me, like if there's a tool that tells me what the consumption looks like, then I can act on it, right? While if I don't see the problem, because the problem is not in front of me, Rishi. So it's almost like it's a parasite that it's on my product page, but I'm not seeing it because I don't have any tool that shows it to me. Yeah, sure, session recording is great, but it doesn't tell you like, okay, here's how many people actually consumed each section on the site. I think in general, one question I would want to answer is, I wonder what influences content consumption, is it based on the intent of the person? Is it based on the context where the person is coming from? So if you've been buying let's say like I don't know, like a skincare product for acne, right? And you've bought like 10 other acne products in the past, and you've been hurt because none of those products have worked for you, and you're now on the product page, like is your content consumption going to be different than somebody that has never bought it before? And it also, like, personality wise, right? I'm like, I need to go to, like, I personally, when I shop, and again, not for old products, when I shop, I have to look at every single detail of the product page, right? But if I'm coming back for the second time because I enjoyed the product, so there's a lot of kind of like variables to try to understand content consumption. So to me,
Right.
the fascinating part about content consumption is how can we identify who consumes the most or the least, and then show a different experience based on that.
Oh, sure, sure. No, that's true. That's true. No, I agree with you. I think from my perspective, though, you're right that if you have bought a product before, then your consumption, your behavior on the page will be quite different. What I'm emphasizing though is that if we have data on people who are engaging content intently, to me that's a very strong indicator of their seriousness of buying, right? There's a lot of people that go to a car showroom, um, but the people that go to the car showroom spend 20 minutes talking to the salesperson, go on a test drive, no guarantee, but the probability of them converting is much much higher. So I think that same kind of logic applies. I think the problem with e-commerce is that we don't have metrics and tools that actually track that. And I think that's the reason, like you said, we don't optimize for it because, Peter Drucker said, what gets measured gets improved, right? So if we don't measure it, then how do you improve it?
You know what this reminds me of? Have you watched, and I think you and I spoke about it maybe in a similar video, but have you watched the show The Social Dilemma?
Yes.
Yeah, so in the show, if you remember, one of the things that they do in order to explain how the AI of Facebook or any other social network is, they basically show a person scrolling through the timeline, and as soon as the person clicks on a product image, the AI gives a higher score to the person that displayed that image. So next time when the user comes back and goes through the timeline again, they show more content coming from that person that previously
You know, I
posted. Yeah.
I probably missed that. I probably missed that section. This actually reminds me. I think big e-commerce product pages need to hire some engineers from Facebook and TikTok and all of these things because these guys are trained for engagement. And I don't think we focus enough on engagement. In consumption of content and engagement are kind of related concepts. We're so focused on driving traffic to a page
Yeah.
and measuring to see how many people converted. That's almost like saying, I'm going to start driving from, London. I'm going to start driving north and I'm going to, after 3 days, check to see if I reach Scotland. Well, yes, that's one way of doing it. But a better way of doing it is to kind of have a GPS where you can like constantly optimize your driving, right? And I think we kind of say, okay, we know we had 1 million people that came to this product page. How many sales did we make? Okay, we didn't make enough sales. This campaign didn't work. Well, you have to go to consumption. You have to.
Yeah, so I think, and I'm gonna say the last kind of like benefit here, which is SEO. So I actually recently spoke to a friend who works for a company that is very, very, very invested in SEO. I would say 90% of the traffic of this company, this is like 9-figure company. So like it's not an e-commerce, by the way, like huge media empire, I would say. And something that he said that I thought it was very interesting is that, whenever we create tools on a page, right, on a content page, and the tool requires some engagement from the user, we see an increase in traffic, an increase in actual obviously revenue, because in their case the traffic is very, very related to revenue, because basically Google sees that engagement as a positive metric and basically rewards by ranking that page higher in the Google search results and so on. So I think, to your point of, oh, we need to hire a bunch of smart engineers from Google and Facebook to figure out how can we engineer engagement on a product page in order to, so the benefits are two, right? Conversion rate, which is something you and I are familiar and we're expert at. But then there's like the whole SEO part, which is like traffic generation, which you and I, we're not expert at, but it could be something that we're not considering that is also like super important for revenue driver.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you very much. And we'll be back with more quick discussions between Lorenzo and I. We talk every day. We share ideas. And hopefully you found value in this. Please, if you like it, like the episode, write a comment to us so we know what kind of content you like, and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.